Don't let your autism define you is a comment that will often come up on my YouTube channel. And as an autistic person, I have some thoughts about it. So today I'm going to go through them. And first up, let's talk about childhood. So when I think of myself as a child, I have lots of memories of feeling scared and alone. I had very few friends, and I worked out from a young age that I had a brain that seemed very different to those around me. I didn't know how to fit in. I didn't know I was autistic. So I began to mask what was underneath the surface. I began to mask what was happening in my brain. I almost felt devoid of a personality, so I started to build some, well, building blocks really, and each building block was essentially something that I liked or was impressed by within another person. So I gradually began to build all of these building blocks to establish a personality that felt in some way acceptable to the world, while at all times hiding myself underneath. But of course, this was only so effective because I would still show signs of awkwardness. I would still show signs of being different. Even though I thought I was hiding them, they were still apparent. I just didn't fit in. I didn't know I was autistic. And in terms of my family life, I had, quite a challenging childhood, as I've mentioned a few times. I was the youngest of four children who were much older than me, so I felt like an only child. So again, I didn't really seem to have anybody around me that I could essentially be fully myself, because I had to be kind of this version of a person that others expected me to be, and in particular, my parents. I had to quieten down so many aspects of myself, so I still was masking even within the home place, so I didn't have any respite from this. So even though I was surrounded by family members, I still struggled to make sense of these relationships, because I still felt very different to everybody. And I still felt like a very scared and alone child. So I still struggled to fit in. I didn't know I was autistic. In terms of work life, this is an area that I've really struggled in. And I've had various jobs in my life. I've had over 50, and each and every new job would follow a similar pattern. So I would feel really enthused about starting out in a new job, in a new workplace, because it was a new opportunity to start again. I could maybe convince these people this time around that I was normal, for want of a better expression, but it wouldn't be long before the cracks would start to appear. So I would feel uncomfortable, I would feel overwhelmed, I would feel different to everybody. Each and every time there were similar yet different reasons why I didn't fit in, and I couldn't work out why. I didn't know I was autistic. In terms of accommodation throughout my life, I've lived in various different places in terms of house shares and flat shares and living in bed sits. And I could never fathom why. I just found it just so difficult to live with other people, even people who I would consider friends in some instances, because I found it so overwhelming to be on display almost for, up to 24 hours a day. I felt like I just wasn't able to rest and regroup and just recover from various social interactions that take place when you're living with other people. And I didn't know why I found it all so difficult. I didn't know I was autistic. In terms of friendships, this is an area that I've really struggled with. And when I look back in my life, I have had some friendships that I really valued at the time, and I really miss these people that I considered friends for however long we had those relationships for. And I could often make friends, not easily, but it certainly was an easier process for me than maintaining friendships, because again, I felt like the mask that these people were so used to seeing and hearing could crack at any moment, and I'd be exposed as a different person to this representation or this curated version of myself that they knew. And again, I couldn't work out how other people were doing it, how they had the energy to invest in these friendships and to see other people regularly, to be able to pick up the phone to these people and have a chat after seeing them only that morning. Why couldn't I do this? Why did I find this so difficult? I didn't know I was autistic. And in terms of education, I'd say I was a fairly clever child at school, but again, I struggled for various reasons. I think the whole social aspects that comes with being at school was really detrimental to me because it really interfered with my studies. I wasn't able to concentrate because I was so worried about being bullied the next day at school that even my homework suffered, because I just wanted to be extracted or removed from this whole situation and to be given an opportunity where I was allowed to flourish as a student instead of being scared all the time. So, needless to say, my grades suffered. And even when I think of college, it was still, yeah, quite a challenging process for me. I only did a year of a diploma course when I was 16 or 17, but again, the social aspects of meeting other people I found really challenging. And when I returned to education in my 30s, many of my peers were, of course, younger on me. I was on a HND course and a degree course. So, although there were commonalities between myself and these other people in that we were all really creative people, I found that I just got obsessed with subject matters to the points where the other students found it confusing as to why I just invested so much time into my project work. But it was a special interest, and I loved immersing myself in these creative projects, and to be given the time and resources to be able to do this just felt amazing to me, and I loved that experience. But again, I struggled to fit in because I just wanted to invest all of my time into my studies, and yeah, not so much into the social aspects of college life. So again, I didn't really fit in. I didn't know I was autistic. And all through my life, I've struggled in terms of my mental health. I've had various bouts of depression, anxiety, agoraphobia, CPTSD, and this is something that I will cover in a separate video because there is just so much to discuss around that. But again, it's something I've always struggled with, and I didn't really have any answers as to why. Medication would never work for me, and I just felt like I had a big question mark over me. I didn't know I was autistic. So when I think about all of the areas I've discussed today, had I known I was autistic, it would have made so much more sense. Yes, I would have undoubtedly struggled still in this life as an autistic person, but I would have at least understood myself and my brain so much better. And instead of being defined as an awkward, introverted person who struggled with so many areas of their life, I could have been defined as an autistic person because my brain is autistic. I am autistic. So, to people who would leave these kinds of comments, who are invariably neurotypical people, I would say you may well think your comments is well intentioned, but to me, I hear this.
Can you please stop talking about your autism now? It might be more comfortable for everyone if you keep masking and pretend it doesn't exist, like you've been doing your whole life.
And I'm really sorry, but I can't resist a bit of wordplay here.
You were probably fine before all of this, so don't let autism define you.
I have done enough people pleasing throughout my whole life, which is essentially what masking is. We do this so others around us feel more comfortable with us. And of course, this is really detrimental to our own mental health. So I've had enough. Autism explains so much about myself. Throughout my life, I just never understood myself fully. I've never understood why I've never been able to fit in, why I've been so different. And autism finally can explain all of this. Autism defines me because I'm autistic.